Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it.
There's a hatred in South Africa that's been coming from politicians like Julius Malema and those guys that's calling for farm murders with the songs as kill a bull, kill a farmer.
This South African song has been igniting quite the firestorm online. Once deemed a struggle chant, modern adaptations of it have kindled cries of white genocide. So why is this song so controversial? Well, it's mostly to do with its lyrics.
Kill the Boer, the farmer!
That chant about killing the Boers, the descendants of Dutch settlers in South Africa. Dubulibunu, which translates to shoot the Boer, was born in the throes of apartheid-era South Africa in the early 90s. Apartheid, which is the Afrikaans word for separateness, was pretty popular among white voters who sought to preserve their dominance over South Africa's black majority. The chant had roots across the political spectrum and was brought back into the public sphere by politician Peter Mokaba after the African National Congress Youth League was reconstituted in 1991 when it grew into a rallying call against apartheid. Dubul Ibunu is one of a number of struggle songs. That is, political anthems that were a key part of the fight to end white rule over non-whites in South Africa.
In the heart of the South African countryside, there is a monument that stands as a solemn reminder of the tragedies that have befallen the farmers and their families. The White Cross Monument, also known as the Plaasmoorde Monument, is tended to by a caretaker named Chris.
The monument was started quite a few years back in the early 2000s to get people's knowledge back and to let them know about the farm murders, so that they can see the count of farm murders that's taking place in South Africa at the moment.
You must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
Now, the way a sentence is structured, you say, we are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. That means at some future date, we may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future you may very well call for the slaughter of white people?
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Yeah, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
What will necessitate that?
You tell me.
I don't know. Why would I do that?
You've said you could do it in the future, is that correct?
I can't guarantee that I can't do it or I won't do it.
So right now,
so I'm not ruling out that possibility.
If I asked you to pledge, to say, I will never call for the slaughter of white people, would you make that pledge?
I will do it with ease.
Make that pledge.
Why would I do that?
I'm asking you to make that pledge.
I
will do it.
I won't do it.
Make the pledge.
I won't do it.
You won't do it?
Yes.
I understand.
Chris has been the guardian of the White Cross Monument for many years, dedicating his life to the memory of the farmers and their families who have lost their lives to violent attacks.
There's a bit of controversy about the final figure of murders that took place in South Africa, but at the moment we're sitting with about 2,500 crosses here, each and every one with a name on it, a physical name that belongs to a farmer that's been murdered in South Africa. It's the date.
86.
He was 86 years old.
Okay,
He's been murdered on the 14th of July 2019.
Yeah.
86-year-old man.
Yeah.
What defense can he put up? Zero.
Yes.
The newest crosses that we put up was in that wing there. Was basically last year's. And the youngest cross here is with a 2-year-old girl.
The violence against farmers in South Africa has been an ongoing issue, with many questioning the motives behind the attacks.
Mr. President, what would it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our President will respond to you.
Yeah, let me,
Thank you, Mr. President.
it will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it.
Sure.
And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would.
It's a close estimate of a calculation. Last year, the estimate was 156 per 100,000 per year. And police officers in South Africa is 55 per 100,000.
The macro picture of the farm attacks was certainly frightening. Being a farmer in South Africa is extremely dangerous. More dangerous than being a South African police officer.
It is clear, and we are just talking about farmers murdered, not including those who survived the attacks and the brutal tortures that some of them have experienced. We are only looking at farmers murdered, and we've seen how this have increased from 2011 until 2017. I mean, I think it was 48 in 2011. So we are moving very, very close to doubling the figure. On the one hand, we must say that there is some correlation with the general increase in our crime levels. But you can clearly see that the tide started changing in 2011, 2012.
The black are all the incidents in 2016, the blue in 2017, and the red, we are busy putting them on at the moment, that's 2018 incidents. If you take more than 3 years on a map like this, it becomes very busy. All these incidents are violent crimes. So we look at murder, attempted murder, rape, robbery, and arson. That's what these are. There's no stock theft involved. There's no theft of normal property. This is only violent crime.
One of the problems is what they tried to do was to reduce the motive for every incident to a single motive. So let me give you an example. The murder of the Potgieter family near Lindley is one of the well-known farm attacks. It happened in 2010, if I recall. So what happened briefly was the family, it was Atti and Vilna, the husband and wife, and they had a 2-year-old girl, Wilhelmine. And they stopped at the farm, and as Atti got out of the vehicle, he was attacked by 3 or 4 people. And eventually, Atti was killed. But he was stabbed 151 times with a garden fork and a knife and a machete, or we call it a panga in South Africa, in front of his wife and little daughter. Then his little girl was killed. They took 3,000 rand and they wrote on a placard, they wrote a sign that said, "We murdered them and we are coming back." They were caught and they were trialed, and during the proceedings they said, "We went there because we wanted to take their money." So then it's accepted, okay, so their intention was to steal. But the level of violence that was committed in comparison to what was stolen, there's no possible way to explain that.
We were abducted, we were tortured very, very severely. My father-in-law, my mother-in-law and myself, we had 14 broken bones between us. We were taken off to a dark torture camp.
We had a home invasion. My fiance was murdered and I was wounded 6 times. The way I'm feeling right now, this country is going to shit. Now my question is when will South Africans start standing up when we have a minimum of 3 people dying per hour that is being murdered and nothing is being done to protect our South Africans?
You can't just leave, pack up and leave. There's guys that do it, but in a couple of years they're back. They don't survive overseas. I mean, you put your life... Sorry, this is taking me very seriously. You can't leave this place, really. Sorry.